1997's 7 Years in Tibet is directed by Jean-Jacques Annaud and stars Brad Pitt as Heinrich Harrer, David Thewlis as Peter Aufschneider, and Jamyang Jamsho Wangchuk as the Dalai Lama. 7 Years in Tibet is based on the autobiographical account of Austrian mountaineer Heinrich Harrer. After escaping a POW camp, Heinrich and his friend Peter find themselves in the holy city of Lhasa. Here, Heinrich becomes friends with the 14-year-old Dalai Lama. We meet Heinrich aloof, stubborn, and egotistical. He leaves his very pregnant wife to go and climb a mountain in India for the Nazis. When his travels are over though, Heinrich, with the assistance of his friends and the Dalai Lama, appears to have learned humility and the benefits of affection. Peter is Heinrich's friend. They've been through a lot together. All of the characters are here to teach Heinrich a lesson. The story is not about Peter, the Dalai Lama, World War II, the Chinese occupation of Tibet, or the Tibetan people. It's about Heinrich and his emotional and spiritual journey towards becoming less of a bastard. Consequently, we get to know Peter on a surface level only. He's definitely not a Nazi though.
Well, I'm not going back either. Not until this shameful war is over.
The Dalai Lama is an inquisitive 14-year-old who initially wants Heinrich around to teach him things about the world outside of Lhasa, but the two soon become close friends. The Lama helps Heinrich grow more enlightened in two ways. By standing as a proxy for his deserted son, Heinrich is forced to contemplate what he has left behind, and by demonstrating to Heinrich that he does not have all of the answers, he shows Heinrich that he still has much to learn. 7 Years in Tibet was filmed on location in Argentina, and we are privileged to watch Heinrich and Peter traverse some of the most beautiful landscapes ever captured on film. The snow-capped mountains in the distance remind us of how far Heinrich has come, and how far he still must travel before being reunited with his son in Austria. The film's look is also added to by 20 minutes of additional, surreptitiously acquired footage of Tibet. John Williams does a fine job with the score, as always. I find myself wanting to know more about the other characters though. I know the story is told from Heinrich's perspective, but since there are scenes in which Heinrich is not involved concerning Chinese and Tibetan politics, why can't there be scenes developing Peter or the Lama? I also think Pitt was wrong for this role. I find his performance distracting, mostly because he can't do an Austrian accent.
Why must you be this way? Why is there always a problem?
But also because it's so obvious that he was cast for his popularity and not for his competence. The real Heinrich was also a Nazi, with a rank equivalent to sergeant, and this fact does not make it into the film because presumably the suits thought it would be too hard for people to sympathize with a Nazi sergeant. So Heinrich is shown to be an Austrian doing what he wants with no real political position and reluctantly putting up with the Nazi regime. I recommend 7 Years in Tibet to those who like dramatic Hollywood biopics. There are some things worth taking from this film, but you have to search for them. I give 7 Years in Tibet 4 stars. Thanks so much for watching my review. If you enjoyed it and you would like to see more reviews like this in the future, please subscribe to my channel. If there's anything you'd like to say about my review or the film, or if you have any films you'd like to recommend, please do that in the comments section below.